On the left we have the 12-pound foot artillery. And on the right we have the 6-inch howitzer. The most obvious difference between these two is the area damage that they cover. So the artillery has this trapezoid-like area damage, where any part of this covered area gets damaged equally. So if I place it over one unit, it does the same damage to a single unit as if I place this trapezoid over 2 units like this. So if I place it like this, I basically did twice the damage overall. And then I could also try to like aim it so that I would hit like 3 units and so on. But with the howitzer, we actually cover a circle area, and if you pay attention, this area is much larger than the one that is covered by the artillery. Now if I place it over a unit, unlike with the artillery, this will not get damaged equally. As it on the center will get the bulk of the damage, while the ones on the edges will get damage reduced by up to 85%. So anytime you want to aim with the howitzer, you should try to get your main target in the center of the circle, and only try to get bonus hits at the edges. Another important thing is what arc their cannonball makes. So I will now just place them to shoot at kind of the same length. And if you look at the shadows that these cannonballs make, you can see how the shadow for the howitzer is actually larger. That is because the howitzer has a higher arc, which means that if you want to shoot at enemy units at a distance and you have some friendly units in the middle, the howitzer is going to be able to shoot over your friendly units easier without hitting them, while the cannons will struggle like much more. And also technically you could shoot over hills with the howitzer more easier. So if my howitzer was somewhere like over here, I could probably shoot over this plateau to hit the cavalry over here. But actually they would have to be positioned a bit differently, but yeah, it is possible. One more important thing that I haven't really mentioned yet is just the distance that they can shoot at. The artillery can shoot quite far, while the howitzer is more limited by range. However, the howitzer is not a bad weapon because all the professional players love to use it. For example, in this game we had 2 amazing players fighting, and you can see that they only use the howitzer. 1 howitzer, 2, 3, 4, and the enemy also has 4 howitzer. Actually maybe only like 3. It appears to be 3 right now. I think that they had like 1 more somewhere. And so who are these players, you might ask? It's actually the #1 player in the world and a player in the top 20. So yeah, but howitzer isn't only useful for the best of the best. For example, this is a game that I played against a random guy. And in this situation with an artillery, I would usually only be able to like damage 4, maybe like 6 units. But if I get my howitzer, I could first of all damage like almost all of the units just by shooting at the center of this circle thing. Or if I want to focus my damage on one side of the circle, then I could still reposition it like this kinda. And then I will still be able to damage like 7 units, which is quite impressive. And also there are 2 more advantages to the howitzer. First of all, comes back to the shape. So the howitzer and the artillery can kinda cover a damage area of the same length. However, the howitzer can like cover an area much wider than the artillery. And so if you're facing a shield war or something, then the howitzer is much more useful in dealing the most damage to like a single line of infantry. And also as a bonus thing, to make it even better, the artillery is actually much slower than the howitzer is. This might be a fair comparison because of the terrain, so I will switch back over to this game. And you can see how the howitzer is able to do like plus 40% more movement maybe, which is very handy when the enemy cavalry is charging at you and you need to pull back behind your infantry line, which is kinda over here right now because I was just meant to demonstrate the howitzer and the artillery. But you get the point. It is way harder to lose howitzer to enemy charges. Like, the only actual disadvantage to the howitzer at the moment is how you need to get closer to your enemy, so you are technically more vulnerable to random quick attacks. But if you are able to fend off some cavalry charges on a regular basis, then you should be absolutely fine, and using the howitzer is kinda a must at this point. Even if you look at the prices, like, an artillery actually costs more than a howitzer, which is absolutely crazy because the howitzer is definitely way better. The howitzer is the meta weapon right now. They have already released 2 patches, but neither of them had damaged the howitzer meaningfully. And it's still cheaper than the artillery, which is absolutely crazy. So we will see if they will even try to make it balanced in the future, or they just leave it like this. But at the moment, this weapon is the go-to. Definitely.